Welcome to Club Damingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
Hello, Timothy.
Bonjour, Gary.
I was going to say that. Not bonjour, Gary, but bonjour, mon ami.
That's about the extent of my French.
Same here. So we can skip all that palaver.
We stupidly thought that if we started Duolingo like 2 weeks before we left Australia, we'd be right. Not at all.
Have you got your Australia or English to French Collins dictionary, your little pocket dictionary?
Yeah, it's called Google Translate.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. How's that going down with the locals?
Well, we've only been here for like 12 hours, so not met many locals yet. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I see from your Facebook post or Anne-Marie's that you've done a cafe.
Yes, that's right. We went for a long walk yesterday from where we're staying to the river, to the Seine, and walked down to Notre Dame and had a spot to eat in a little cafe next to Notre Dame. It's incredible. I haven't traveled in this manner terribly often, really.
Mm-hmm.
But Anne-Marie and I backpacked when we were much younger. Before Greener Pastures comic book, in between the comic strip and the comic book, we backpacked, and I still tell my students about the fact that if you can travel, you should travel, because anything you see on the internet now or back then in books, right, is you always go, oh yes, I can see the composition or I can see the the methodology or whatever, but it's not until you see something for real in front of you that it's like, wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you were in Malta, and so there was the last couple of days of Malta. You had some exciting travels there.
Yeah. Let's start with the people, shall we? So the people being, I had dinner with a few of the comic book artists here, which was great. I've been in contact with Dean Fennick, who's somebody here who seems to know everybody, very well regarded, lovely fella, and very generous with his time, very warm with his friendship.
So he's a Maltese version of you.
Well, I sometimes think that Maltese version of us, seems to know everybody, and they have a comic convention here that I think is in the 14th year. If I'm looking over your shoulder, Gary, it's just to look at Anne-Marie to
Hi,
give.
Gary.
Hi.
Anne-Marie says hello.
Very tiny room.
Yeah, it's a very tiny room. The expansive background does not show.
The lady in the window behind you has no clothes on.
I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, so Dean reached out to a few of his friends. So we had dinner with Dean and with Peter Magro and with Greta Elul Shwirib and Ivan Elul Shwirib. So we had dinner with those people. Greta and Ivan are, as Dean put it, kind of a little bit comics adjacent. But it's interesting, all of their day jobs, they've all got day jobs, are similar to our day jobs. They're web designers or computer programmers or educators in art and design. So very similar story everywhere. And a similar story, they were telling very brief history of Maltese comics or recent Maltese comics. And it sounded very similar to us with the 80s, 90s boom. And that there was quite a few things being created at that time. And then all the artists got to an age where there were financial pressures and families and marriages, kids, etc.
Wives and kids. They just ruin it for everyone.
Now. And for a lot of them, it just kind of petered out, and there's only been a few people who have kind of kept that fire burning. And now it seems to be growing again, and I think it's young people, just like I find in my teaching practice, are young people who find comics as being just another part of their creative practice, where they do fan art and posters and animation and comics, and so yeah, it's
that's
pretty
good.
interesting.
That's very healthy. Yeah,
I think so too. Absolutely. Some comics. Peter Magro,
Energy Quest. That looks
gave
nice.
me that. Yeah, it's very cool. It's post-apocalyptic teddy bear, and you can see the batteries. The energy quest is that humans are gone. All of the AI and the robots are around now, and they're always looking for batteries and other electricity to keep firing them up. So it's a slightly larger format, A4.
Is that a regular series or is that a one-off?
That's regular. This is the 3rd issue.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my lighting here is not great.
No, that's okay.
I really got the backlighting.
No, you can see enough, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Okay.
Traditional line work, and then coloured digitally.
Yep.
Everything I'm showing you is A4 in size, actually. So this is by Dean. This is one of a few series he's done. He's done quite a few series. It's called Times Are Change.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he describes that is a bit like Black Adder. You know how that was a generational thing? Same actors playing basically the same characters generation by generation. But doing that to portray Maltese history from like Neolithic times on upwards. So it's a clever idea. And
cool.
another one that Dean does regularly is this one. This one is all in Maltese, and I can't speak Maltese. Did I talk to you about how difficult Maltese is to
you alluded to
to learn? Yeah. It was, whenever you have foreigners in your country, it's always great to play games with the language. So we had a great time trying to have explained to me how the language works. So I'm not going to try to read any of it to you.
Right,
but this is almost not quite like Scholastic, but there is I suppose it's a bit of a cross between Scholastic and something like Pilote, the French anthology.
Yeah.
Where it's a comics magazine. I think it might have some other stuff in it now as well. I haven't got a copy of it, but I believe it's extremely long-running, well-regarded Maltese comics anthology, which was revived recently by Chris. I can't remember Chris's last name, but he's really regarded as the godfather of comics in Malta.
Right.
So a slightly older fella who's been involved with comics like forever here. So he revived this anthology called Satar.
You'd have to take him very seriously, though. Around Malta and Sicily and Italy, they take the term godfather very seriously.
That's true. Maybe I shouldn't use that term. But yeah, I think now it might have some other things in there besides just comics. But what Dean does is he does this, which is based in a high school, and sometimes it's a one-page story, sometimes it's an 8-page story, depending on what story he's trying to tell. Because Dean is a high school teacher, so he draws upon his own school days and his teaching days, and he teaches. He does a comic strip for it's mostly like fun, not really drama, so that's what that one is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and they were lovely people. And then the next night, Greta, where she lectures, they were having their graduation exhibition.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
she said we should come along. So we did, which was lovely. Had a look at their work, which was pretty much on the same par as places I've taught.
Yep.
And it was similar stuff. It was a broad range from game design to fine arts, graphic design, architectural design, all sorts of stuff. So that was cool. And that night we met Adrienne, and I'm not sure what Adrienne's last name. No, not Audrienne. Audrienne, another comic book artist. So yeah, very keen to come back. I'd love to come back. They have a convention in November. So I don't think I'll be back this November, but and they have, because of their proximity to Europe, they actually have quite a few really interesting guests, international guests.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty good number. And did I say this to you last week that they've had Australians here?
It's worth saying again.
Yeah. From memory, I think Nicholas Scott, Ben Templesmith, Mike Crome, anybody else I can't think off the top of my head, and Chris Thompson, who I've probably mentioned as well, who lives now in Sicily with his Italian wife, so just north of Malta, is the launch managing editor of Heavy Metal magazine as well, and he's an expat Australian.
Yeah, right.
Chris Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good friend of Maltese Comics. Visits that convention every year, and yeah. So it was a great time, really interesting people, and easily become brethren. It's right. Like we all have the same difficult job trying to make our comics and make some money from comics and make a living from comics and all of that. So yeah, it was interesting.
Did you tell them all about Australian comics?
No, I was too busy listening to them talk about their comics. we found a small amount of time to talk about Greener Pastures.
Oh, that's right. It's all about you, isn't it?
It is. And even that we didn't really talk about much. It was just so interesting to hear about them and what happens in Malta.
Yeah, cool.
And then we went to Popeye Village the couple of days later, which was awesome. It was really cool.
So this is the sets of the movie that was made in the early 80s with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall, and the Maltese ingeniously kept the place open and earned some bucks off it. Yep. And still do to this day.
Yeah, it's really popular. So 1980, the Popeye movie, which I keep on calling it a musical. I didn't realize how many musical pieces there were in it, but there's a number of musical pieces in it. But the set is pretty much intact. They built a little village in a little bay, and it's pretty much intact. Some of it got destroyed in a fire at some point, so they had to rebuild some of it. But generally, it's what was built for the film. And a little cast of about 8, maybe, actors basically ran the whole day. It was incredible.
Wow.
Because it's small enough that if you're on the street, there's just one main street basically with all of the buildings. You're going to come across these cast members continuously, and they in this 30+ degree heat, in beating down sun, in full costume, and they were just giving it their all. Wow. That was really good fun. Yeah, the Popeye guy was great. Olive was great. So yeah, it was good fun. And then they make use of the bay. The bay is there, so it's full of inflatable, swim toys. Like ramps and things you run across and jump on, and all included in the price. And there's sunbeds everywhere with little covers over them, so they know what they're doing. It was. I said similar thing to what you just said. I said to Emery, somebody at some point said, "I'm going to buy that place," or maybe the government still owns it. I don't know, and decided. I think there's something in this.
Yes.
So they just adopted Popeye. There's Popeye merch, like almost every souvenir shop you go into. There's, you know how Popeye's got the anchors tattooed on his arm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of T-shirts where he's got one anchor and one Maltese cross instead, and all that kind of stuff. So it's good fun. It was a really really great place. I didn't know what to expect, but if you're willing to get daggy, then it's worth
Right.
it's
So
worth going. Yeah.
how long were you there for? Like, was it a whole day?
Well, we didn't get there till about 11.
Oh, okay, so just in time for lunch and a tin of spinach.
That's right. Yeah, we maybe a little bit before 11, but we stayed until about 4, I think, 3 or 4. So yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Tin of spinach. You know what? Well, we haven't been eating spinach much here, but we've been drinking Kinney. They've got a Maltese soft drink called Kinney, Kinnie. Oh, it's so nice. It's a bit like the Italian soft drink that you can buy in most Italian restaurants.
Right.
I forget what that's called. It's a bit like that, but it's a Maltese version of it. So
Right,
we
okay.
really got into the Kinney. We're hoping to see if we can get some at home.
Yeah. So what's the weather change like now that you've gone from Malta to Paris? Is it
Completely different?
Yeah.
But actually, I've got the door, the window here open to the balcony. Long story, I don't think we were supposed to have a balcony, but we turned up at our accommodation and we didn't have any. It had been cancelled unbeknownst to us. So very quickly we were able to uncancel it. But it meant that he probably just gave us the only room which was left, which was a really nice room. I mean, it's tiny.
Yeah.
It's one of those really tiny hotels, but it's got a balcony, which is amazing.
Yep. Wow.
Oh, it just started raining. When we were flying in, seeing the roads slick with rainwater was really weird after being to Dubai and Malta, where you barely saw a cloud in the sky. And it was between Malta and Dubai, overnight temperature lows of 25 to day highs of 41 or 42. Like, that's what we've had.
Yeah.
And then today it's like we're probably lucky to crack 19 here today, because it's raining. But
yeah, I'm just being distracted by a cat who's attention seeking. He's just been fed and now he wants to play a little bit, but I'm ignoring him.
The cat plays after it's
so do the dogs. The dogs get all zoomy after a meal, and so does the cat now.
Got to not put so much sugar in it. Our sleep.
Yeah, well, it's not going to work for me. I have a meal and I don't get zoomy. That's for sure.
That's right. I get sleepy.
Yeah. Okay. So this is your first full morning in Paris. So what's on the agenda? How long are you going to be there for, and what do you plan on doing?
We've got just under a week. We're starting with the Louvre today. We've got what's the gallery tomorrow?
Musée d'Orsay.
The Musée d'Orsay tomorrow. We've got Eiffel Tower one night. The sun doesn't set here until 10 p.m. So we're going up the Eiffel Tower very late in the afternoon, evening to watch the sunset from up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've got too much else really booked here.
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Disneyland. Yeah, going to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's
for
cool.
a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool. I can't wait. We went when Amory and I backpacked again, like between Greener Pastures comic strip and comic book. So over 30 years ago, we went to Disneyland. It had been open for 6 days, 6 weeks. So we went to Disneyland and it was brand new and very quiet. We backpacked when the Gulf War was on. So Europe was empty.
Yeah.
There was nobody here.
You just love being in danger, don't you?
That's right. We go while the Gulf War is on. We go while Israel is bombing.
Maybe you're a secret agent. You're going on all these comic book travels and you really got another job.
Yeah. Have you met me? I look like a secret agent.
Yeah, well, it's the people you don't expect. You have to expect.
That's true. So yeah, it'll be interesting to go because now it's all Marvel and Star Wars as well, and so yeah. And
of course, you'll hit a few of the old comic shops there, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So we walked to Notre Dame last night, and just beyond Notre Dame is the Latin Quarter, and that's where most of the comic shops are. We didn't get there last night, but Samuel did when he was here about a week ago. And there's a strip with about a half a dozen comic shops of different types, little pokey indie type shops and the really large ones. There's a chain called Pulp, and I think they've got like 4 shops. I don't know if they're all in the same area, but one of them's dedicated to the American or English language. One is the bande dessinée, one's manga, I think one's toys and sculpts and stuff like that. So
Right.
very keen, but that's probably 3 or 4 days until we get there.
Right.
Got a few other things to do first. And I've been looking for if there are any, I don't know how to pronounce it in French, but like dedications, and they call a dedication a signing, or they call a signing a dedication, because they have a lot here, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have any luck whatsoever with that.
There was signings, with dedications. There was all very bad luck.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep on looking for the French words and I haven't got any in my head. Samuel, on the other hand, has had such great luck. He was here like about a week ago and saw a Adrian Tomine exhibition.
Tomine or Tomine?
It is.
I'm not sure.
Tomine?
No, I don't know. I'm shutting up.
I should have done the research.
Read my lips.
So that exhibition was on, and it was so successful that they extended it for a week, and that way it was still on while Sam was here, and it ended the day before yesterday. So
that's very accommodating of them. Yeah.
It is. They could have accommodated me as well.
Oh, Samuel is coming. We'll extend the whole thing.
Yeah, for his benefit. And he's on a tour bus at the moment, doing a tour, and he was in Barcelona yesterday, and he's walking down the street, and there's a banner, like flags in the street, advertising a Chris Ware exhibition. So important enough that there's like banners in the street about it, and he went to that, and it blew his mind. I haven't chatted to him about it yet, but his Instagram is just showing all this incredible original artwork from Chris Ware. So he keeps on stumbling onto all the good stuff, and I miss it by that much.
Yeah. Just your luck.
Yeah.
Well, you've still got a bit of fun ahead of you, though.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. I'm looking forward. I think the comic shops are going to have original art for sale and stuff, so there should be a little bit of stuff there to have a look at.
Yep.
Speaking of original art, what's that behind you? Pock.
Oh, it's an old Olympians page that I've uncovered.
Nice.
I don't know whether that can focus there. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Amazing.
Yes, this nighttime light is a little bit more harsher than our lovely velvety daytime recordings.
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. It's 8:30 coming up to 9 o'clock here. What time is it? It's 9 p.m. here. 9 a.m. here.
Yeah, it's about 5 o'clock here.
Right.
In the Monday evening. Yes. And it's bitterly cold. So even Paris is a little bit warmer than what we've been getting here in Huonville, that's for sure. You know,
what have you got?
To just mist. It's like the Mist movie where, monsters crawl through the mist, and it doesn't alleviate until about 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Wow.
So, the days go, daylight hours or natural daylight goes pretty fast. So yes, the sun is plummeting at the moment. So the light will no doubt change even more in the next half hour or so.
Right. Very good.
So what's Bongo up to? Is she being all cultural and dragging you to galleries here, there, and everywhere?
Vice versa as well. Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, of course. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
I dragged her to an amazing performance in the cathedral in Malta. They call it the Co-Cathedral. We
you mentioned this.
That. Yeah. So did I talk about the performance? It was a little. It went for about an hour, but it was explaining the history of the Caravaggio that's on display there.
Yeah, right.
But there was also 5 or 6 musical pieces, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I think you did mention that, but you also on socials mentioned that you bumped into a street procession for Saint.
They have festas. Yeah, a saint, exactly.
A saint, right? Okay, yeah,
There's a few of them. Every little like suburb or town in Malta has a patron saint, I guess.
right.
And somebody somewhere is always having a festival regarding that saint. And it was actually the church where I haven't double checked with my mum yet, but I'm pretty sure it's the church my mum said where, everybody in my dad's family was um, baptized and married and all of that stuff. So it was in his neighborhood, so
Yeah,
it probably was his church. So yeah, like a marching band and big banners, and they put up all of these big columns temporarily. They all look like they're made of marble and weigh, tons and tons, but they're actually just made of wood and painted like marble. And so, but banners hanging from everywhere and fireworks in the streets.
Yeah. Lovely.
So yeah, it was that was our last night in Malta. So yeah.
If that happens in Paris, it's probably some demonstration that you should stay away from.
Oh my God! I tell you what, it was very confronting. You walk through the airport, and there are military in full get-up with their automatic weapons, ready to shoot you.
Yeah, right.
And last night during our walk, we walked past a whole troop, like about 8 of them walked past us, completely made up, ready for war. It's crazy.
Right. Wow.
Very confronting. We're very lucky in Australia that we're not having to see that too often.
Worth remembering. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, exciting stuff. And you still got a week in Paris, eh? And then is it straight home after that, or are you stopping off somewhere on the way?
No, that'll do, thanks.
Yeah. Time to get back to Boots. Boots will be missing you.
That's right. Boots and the house sitter. We've got to alleviate what's going on there. Annabelle's actually on her way. Oh, she just landed. Annabelle's just landed. So yeah.
Oh, back home again.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. So okay.
She'll be off to greet the house sitters and the cat.
And you'll have to set aside some bail money for Samuel when he eventually gets into trouble. And
yes. Oh my God, it won't happen. Surely, he's a good boy. He's very annoyed. He's very annoyed that Annabelle got a cameo and he didn't.
Well, he's
got to be in the same.
Yeah, he's got to stick with the old man, and he might become semi-famous.
Semi-Samuel.
Yes.
All right, enough about me. What's going on in the land of Oz?
Oh, everything's halted while you've been away. There is nothing going on of interest. No, nothing going on. In the comics world?
Yeah.
In the comics world, everyone's revving up for PCAF, I think, and that's the next exciting thing that's on the calendar. Nothing much else to report. I'm not the person to ask because I don't have my finger on the pulse as much as I used to these days. So I've just been keeping my head down and my bum up, my posterior up in the air. And I actually did get a text message from Monsieur Naylor, Dylan Naylor, and he's putting the final touches on the whole Kickstarter campaign for Pop Culture and 2 Minute Noodles, which is going live in a week or two. I don't think a date has been nominated yet, but it's very bloody close to launching. So that's very exciting indeed. And he asked about what's happening with Morton Stone. And I hadn't thought about Morton Stone for several months because I've been a bit laser focused on the Jackaroo. And in my plans for the Jackaroo, Morton Stone figures into that as well, becoming part of the Jackaroo's universe. So I talked to him a very short while about my plans for Morton. Of course, there was a stage about a year ago, or even longer perhaps, that I was going to do a one-off anthology called Autopsy Number 1. And that's would feature Morton Stone stories, little shorter stories drawn by other people. So that has been brought back to the forefront of my mind as to how much work is involved without getting too distracted on getting Autopsy finished and released in the meantime. Of course, there's a lot of artwork that's already been sitting there finished and completed, and I just need to finish I'm actually inking a Patricia Morton Stone crossover.
Awesome.
In the past, Dylan's been known for inking my stuff, and this story is the other way around. He's penciled all of it, and I'm inking it. So
brilliant! How tight are those pencils?
Pretty tight, in his Patricia style. So So I'm trying to approach the inking like who was that artist that used to work for Creepy in Vampirella that had wonderful I forgot now. Anyway, I'll do some homework and I won't put it in the show notes later on.
So like not Alex Nino or
Aureolian, Aureleon. I think that's how you spell it. Just come flooding back into my brain then. But anyway, I'm approaching it from a like a horror comic Warren magazine kind of as much as I can as far as the inking is concerned. So that's a bit of fun.
So I good embellishment going on there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Textural and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I having talked to Dylan, I dragged all that artwork out and I've gone, but I'm still trying to stay laser focused on the Jackaroo stuff because I refuse to get distracted. But Autopsy is also, on the top of my mind at the moment as well. So, because it has stories. Who have I got here? I've got Dylan as the Patricia story is with Dylan. Jason Paulos has finished a story as well, which is like it's an old one, but it's been relettered and rescripted. Ryan Vella has done one as well.
Oh wow!
And Matthew Dunn, ages ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, he was going to come on as the regular artist for the Morton Stone stories. But, he's had a lot of other work and personal issues and all that kind of stuff. So that pathway sort of ground to a bit of a halt. But he did do 2 stories of 3 that I originally sent him. So those 2 stories, I'm going to finish lettering up and put that in Autopsy #1. So
that's a great idea. I don't think I knew this was coming out, Gary. This was in the pipeline. That's amazing.
Well, I'd say it's about 70% done. So
brilliant.
If I need a break from the Jackaroo, I might just put some effort into finishing off the Undertaker short stories and get Autopsy out as well. So hopefully that'll be before the end of the year. And that'll play into reintroducing the character to a certain extent and finally getting these stories that these amazing artists have done a lot of work on in print and out there as well. And so I've been thinking about that over the last couple of days since talking to Dylan and also sort of writing on his shirt tails a little bit because pop culture is going to go through the roof, I've got a feeling. So
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So is
Autopsy going to be in color or black and white? Or
black and white? Black and white, of course. I think.
And brand new cover from you, or are you getting someone else?
No. Ryan Vella's done a cover. I've got
awesome.
I've done a piece of art for someone else, a band called Morton Stone, that I might do a alternate cover. So might have 2 covers, perhaps, or my one might be just the inside front cover or a picture on the inside. But Ryan Vella has done a lovely high res picture, which is the front cover, which I've started to color. It's about, again, 70% done. So everything's in a stage of, if I invest a bit more time, everything will fall over the line and it might be able to be out before Christmas. So
brilliant. Cool. Yeah. And Matt Dunn, remind me who that is, Matthew Dunn. What has he done in the past?
He's got quite an Instagram presence. He does a lot of from what I might be misremembering, but he does a lot of A3 prints, Darth Vader, horror stuff. His art style is very bent towards Morton Stone and the darker side of the graphic style that he uses. So it's worth doing a Google search on to find out all the different stuff that he has done as well. So
is that cartoony or realistic or
stylistic? I wouldn't call it cartoony. No.
Yeah, cool. All right. Really looking forward to that as well then.
Good mix of artists involved, and it'll be a really nice project when it's put together and finally finished. So so I've been doing that because the plan had always been to relaunch Jackaroo, and then the original 3 or 4 issues that have been produced for Morton Stone through Gestalt, I was going to re-release them through Cyclone, but make it a part of the overarching Jackaroo story. So I was holding off republishing those 3 and the missing 4th until it was time for it to fit into the Jackaroo story arc. So that'll be sometime next year as well. So Autopsy will play a nice role in reintroducing the character and having a bit of fun at the same time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So, head down and bum up still on the Jackaroo, but with a little bit of side thought of, there's not much work to do on that Autopsy comic, and that could be out and about. But then I think to myself, no, this is when you get distracted, Gary. You just don't do Morton Stone. Ignore Dylan Naylor's pleas to get the book out. And just get stuck into Jackaroo and do one thing at a time, you idiot. So that's what I've been trying to do.
What's part of the maxim at the moment is momentum, right? Momentum is really important, and while the Jackaroo momentum is happening, you've got to continue to capitalize on that.
And when the Jackaroo,
that's the internal.
Yeah, when the Jackaroo has its momentum, Morton will get caught up in that naturally because there's a place for Morton to step in and play his role. And I think one will roll into the other, and both will have their independence after a certain time.
Yep. Cool. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, talking about momentum, can I change the subject?
Go right ahead.
Well, I sent you some screen caps of Tom Tung of his Instagram.
Yep.
Momentum. They call that momentum. Have I got the screen caps in front of me?
I've made a couple of notes here that you alluded to in your socials, in your conversation with Tom.
Go ahead.
No. It was just simply the number 3081. 3081.
Yeah. Tom Tung on Instagram has done 3,081 consecutive days of doing I guess you call it a tiny Tom. I think that's what he calls it.
Yeah.
Where he does a little cartoon, usually autobiographical, usually one panel thing, every day for the last 3,000 plus days. And he finally forgot to do one, and he's really beating himself up over it.
Yeah. Would you? Is he depressed? Because then you could call him a tongue depressor.
I don't know. You could ask him that because I'm not going to.
But no, 3,081, and then I think the post was he'd worked hard the previous day and slept through and missed posting the morning after. And that was the 3,082nd day that he failed for the first time. So he was pretty upset by that. But I think, I think you're right in turning that negative into a positive, because that's an amazing run. It really is.
If you don't follow Tom on Instagram already, chuck him a follow to make him feel better. Tell him that Gary and Tim sent you.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So I'm doing a screen cap of his page on Instagram.
Right.
So I can see how many of you buggers follow him after this. If you're not following him already, I want to see the numbers go up. Because like day after day after day, of amazing little one panel cartoons, great style, heartfelt, great humor, great even in his really more dramatic and emotional one panel pieces, always great humor as well. Wonderful.
Do you know whether has he resumed?
He must have. Let me have a look. Good. So that was 5 days ago, 4, 3. Yeah. So looks like he's still going. And he's what was I going to say? I said in a comment that we should coin the phrase the tongue threshold as being once you can do 3,081 consecutive days of something like that, you're reaching the tongue threshold, and see if you can break through. I think that's a great.
I can't do it.
That's right.
I'm at 2,095. I can't do it. I can't take it.
Yeah. To commit to something like that day after day, fantastic. I know I've met him briefly, maybe more than once, but I had a little chat with him at the last BendiCon I went to, or the one before that. Lovely fella as well. So
right,
and he reprints a lot of these things in a nice thick little volume every so often.
And he does print editions. Yeah. Yes, they've come across my desk in the Ledger Awards. So
Yep.
Just keep on
Very
chipping
good.
away. What a great achievement. So congratulations for your 3081, Tom, if you're listening and watching.
Great achievement.
Yeah, but get stuck into it, man. Keep it going.
Yeah. What was the other thing I sent you? Oh, Wayne Nichols. Wayne Nichols.
Afterburn.
Yeah, something I'd not heard of before either. Because that, So Wayne Nichols from Queensland. Often at like those local conventions. So he put up a post that a comic that he drew, and I don't know much more about it beyond that. I don't think he's the co-creator as such. I think he was kind of like a work for hire situation from what I can tell. Work for hire situation. Drew a comic called Afterburn, and it's coming out as a feature film this year. And it's not a little feature film. It's got Samuel L. Jackson and what's his name? But
Dave Bautista. Yes.
Dave Bautista. Yeah.
And Olga Kurilenko.
Very good. You haven't done any research, but you practiced some pronunciation.
The guy that's the main driver behind the graphic novel or the comic series is a guy called Scott Chitwood, and he was working with a writer called Paul Enns. And Wayne was doing the illustration side of it. So, Afterburn. Now, from what I've read in the short amount of time that I did some homework, a solar flare has destroyed most of Europe and Africa and all the west side of Europe. But these guys go in to try and reclaim famous statues and paintings and works of art from other countries like America and Australia and stuff like that. But they go into Europe, like where you are, to reclaim, and there are all these marauding gangs and stuff like that. So Dave Bautista plays the guy who's been sent in by Samuel L. Jackson to reclaim the Mona Lisa. But there's more to it than that. That's just the setup, and then there's many layers of stories. I don't know how similar it drifts from the comic book, the graphic novel, because there is one killer little spoiler that I won't say about the main character. I don't know whether it actually carries over from the comic to be treated the same way in the movie, or whether it's just played straight for action. But there's a couple of plot elements. You know how they change things from one to the other. Yeah.
Have you read the comic? Have you?
No, I haven't. No, but I had a good look at it online before we started recording.
Yeah, cool.
Apparently, this Scott Chitwood fellow has had some other projects of his turned into movies as well. So he's got runs on the board as far as adaptations from comics to movies. So good on you, Wayne Nichols there. And I think it was several issues. Got up to 2 or 3.
It looks to me like he probably did like an arc or a mini series.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking up Scott on IMDb. Well, I can't see anything else on IMDb by him, but
CHITWWO.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So very good. Does it strike you? There was a period, probably between 10 and 20 years ago. Does it strike you as being a situation where, let's say, Scott Chitwood is writing these comics and getting people to draw them as something to package to then on sell? Like the end game is always to make a movie, do you think? Or
it smells like
just
that.
a sales tool?
I don't know him or his career, but it does smell like that on the surface. So yeah. And
there was a period where there were whole companies being set up, whole comic book companies being set up just to do that. That they were just.
That's where things like Cowboys and Aliens came from Platinum. That was very much the case of, we'll do the comics and we'll sell a movie straight away for it.
Yeah,
and that's a perfect example of that method. Yeah.
Interesting.
This reminds me very much, this movie Afterburn, the movie version, reminds me a hell of a lot of Escape from New York.
But that's not bad.
But ramped up, with the tanks and the explosions and the more explosions and the weird gangs with the,
The fact that I haven't looked into the storyline at all. The fact that it's based on saving great works of art, it makes me feel like, well, maybe I will go see it if it was just another post-apocalyptic action movie. But that sounds like a cool raison d'etre for the story. So yeah, very cool. So congratulations, Wayne. I don't know if you get any kickbacks from that.
Let's hope he does. Yeah. And these days, the artist, even if he's brought on as initially as he's defined as a co-creator if he's the original artist of the series, or should be.
Really? Not if the contracts are being written right.
It all depends on the contracts.
And being written right depends on which side of that contract you're on, whether it's being written right or not.
Yeah. Always read the contract, kids. Always read the contract.
My God, do you follow Ben Templesmith at all on any of his socials?
I've been reading the abuse.
Yeah. So again, I haven't looked into it too deeply, but it's on my list of things to do, to have a chat with him if I get the chance. Because we're on this road with Greener Pastures, hoping to, on-sell the idea of the short film to a television show. But he refuses to sign copies of 30 Days of Night. So if you've not read 30 Days of Night by Niles, I think it is, Steve Niles and Ben Templesmith, a great idea that if you go far enough into the Arctic Circle, the sun doesn't rise for like 6 months or something like that, or 30 days for a whole month. The sun will not poke its head over the horizon. So you have 30 days of night. And if you're a vampire, you can run riot. So that's the hook there. So co-created by Niles and Templesmith. And they made a pretty good movie out of it.
And it really helped get IDW up and running as a publishing house. I think it was the first project that actually hit big for them.
Yeah, I think it made IDW, and it pretty much made Ben as well. I think Ben was already on his way, but and would have made it anyway. I must say that. But yeah, so.
I mean, he was a surefire hit after working on Morton Stone for an issue or two. So
exactly,
it all comes around.
That was actually what made him, absolutely.
Then there was this little thing called 30 Days of Night.
A little follow up for him, and I think there were like 2 feature film sequels, probably both straight to DVD, and I think there were a couple of miniseries for television, but I think it's the television contracts for the television series have locked him out of owning anything anymore 30 Days of Night wise. So when he signs a 30 Days of Night book, he doesn't just sign it and do a little scribble or whatever. He actually writes like a reasonably long paragraph attacking IDW, saying, "When are you going to give me back my rights, you bastards? And this is not the way that you treat your creative people, etc."
Yep. That's a nice way of handling it.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it gives the fan who really just wants to meet the creator and have something signed what they want, and it gives the creator who feels like every time somebody buys something 30 Days of Night, they're probably not getting the amount back from it that they should, if anything at all. Gives him a bit of a platform, and so good luck to Ben.
Yeah, viva la Templesmith.
Viva la Templesmith. What is it? Liberty, equality, and fraternity.
And band designee.
and band designee, exactly. All right. So look, I'm running out of time. We've got to get to the Louvre.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about us down here. Jeez.
The aforementioned Mona Lisa is waiting for me. So yeah.
Well, I think we've covered everything, so that's good. So
yes, good timing.
You be safe. You have fun. We'll catch up with you next week sometime. Bongo, look after him, and we'll see you back here at some stage.
Yeah, I think we've got one more chat from Paris. I think it's probably the day before I leave, something like that.
Right,
and then we'll be back on Terra Australis.
Right.
Sorry, I feel like I'm a little bit lacking in energy today. So sorry if I'm not as as bright.
That's
and
totally
bubbly
fine.
as always.
That's totally fine. We'll expect you to be twice as bubbly next time. No, yeah, you're fine.
Hope so.
Yeah. Sacred,
Okay.
have a glass of wine for me. Yeah.